Hello and a huge good afternoon and welcome to our day 3 of Lunch and Learn with me. And we're covering in the next 10 or so minutes everything and anything to do with assessment in health and movement science. Now, I know that many of you are feeling the pinch and looking at that syllabus document and going, I've got no idea where to start with assessment. Things have been shifted, and we know that with artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and every other piece of technology out there, that research tasks in terms of looking at research online is a thing of the past for our kids, not just in stage 6, but in 7 to 10, PDHPE, child studies, pass, and then beyond that. We really need to move past those assessments that the kids can literally regurgitate information online and then present it in some way, shape, or form to you in an assessment task, because they're risking plagiarism big time. So I would love to get you to think about 4 main questions when we're looking at data-informed decisions around assessment tasks. And I want you to have that lens at the back of your mind when you're making decisions for our brand new health and movement science syllabus. And I ask these questions to those teachers who are joining us in our boot camp this week. And I said to them, I love data, I love numbers. I'm not very good at maths yet, growth mindset there. But I love looking at statistics and data always shaped what I did in my classroom. Not in the early days. In the early days, I had no idea what RAP data was. I didn't get access to it. Obviously, someone, a colleague at some point, reminded me that we have this data that is available to us as PDHPE and CAFS teachers. So I would love for you to think about your HSC data, your RAP data. If you have no idea where to access that, please let me know, or let your head teacher or coordinator or deputy or assistant principal, curriculum coordinator, someone know that you don't know where to access that. But the data gives us lots of information about what's going on for our kids. So this data can also be not written data. It can be data about numbers at your school. Like, are your PDHPE numbers increasing over time? Do you have healthy pass classes that can filter into PDHPE? Now, I know the very first time that we got 2 PDHPE classes at Nagel College, Blacktown, my school for 14 years, Bubble in Blacktown, a beautiful school led by Karen Tillman. When we got 2 PDHPE classes up one year, there have been multiple times that we got a PDHPE, 2 PE classes, but this one particular year was my first term back in 2008. I had always taught CAFS up until that point in seniors, and then we had some really healthy numbers in pass. Dave and I had, I had one pass class, he had one pass class, and they just so happened to be that the kids who were in year 7 that I started at Nagel with. So it was lovely. We really got on well. I was their touch footy coach, their netball coach. I went to athletics carnivals with them, cross country. So they really kind of knew me well. I was also their year coordinator, their pastoral coordinator at the end of year 9 for a term on a mat leave block. And then, of course, I was really lucky enough to get appointed as their pastoral coordinator in a permanent position the year after. So that would have been 2007 that I got appointed as a permanent pastoral coordinator at our school. So they were in year 10, and it was like my first leadership role at the school. Really loved it, and I did that until I had Cass, our eldest. So I went on mat leave in 2010. So I didn't return to that role in pastoral. If you're a pastoral or a head teacher wellbeing, complete hats off to you. Anyway, I had these kids, and we then ended up having really good pass class. Well, I loved it, they loved it, and that built into a really healthy year 11 PDHPE class. So Dave had one and I had the other. Great decision, Karen, that both of us could teach it back to back. Those relationships were absolute key. And if you've heard me talk about this in CAFS for a little while, Relationships are so important, and I think that's why we have those healthy numbers. And we can use that anecdotal kind of data to help us inform decisions for the future in health and movement science. So what does your data tell you? What do the numbers tell you? What does your HSC results tell you? What are like your assessment tasks in the junior years? What is this telling you? And then also, what is your HSC results over the last, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10 years telling you? Sometimes the data tells us one thing, but the kids tell us another. So I'd love for you to think about, what are the kids telling you that they love about PDHPE? Let's retain that and move that into health and movement science. We had a really good discussion with our bootcamp teachers last night about this exact thing, that we don't want to lose the nature, the culture that has existed in PDHPE probably since I was at school. I left in 1999, so my HSC years were 98, 99. So our course changed in 2001. That would have been my sister's year. No, yeah, that might have been my sister's year that changed. I really think that we need to still retain those traditional PDHPE kids that we get. Yes, our course is an academic course, and Dave was talking about, Dave was talking about this last night, that CAFS, ATAR, academic CAFS and HMS, PDHP are ATAR courses. They're academic courses. But how do we cater for the kids who love sport, who still really enjoy the health side of things, but aren't quite there yet? We need to be thinking about all these things when we make decisions around assessment tasks, especially for Year 11. I want you to also think about, what are the challenges that you think that you're first of all experiencing now with this brand new HMS syllabus? What are some of those challenges now? And what are some of the strengths that you can bring into this new course? So you might look at current assessment practices. Obviously, AI is a massive one. We can't just do a research task now where the kids go off and do research online and present it in some way, shape or form, or potentially even answer HSC style questions, with that research. Of course, the kids have to remember, and have to apply that exam type skills, but it's really important that we're thinking about what the challenges are for now, for your kids in PDH, but also this new era of health and movement science students that we're going to be able to support. And then what are the strengths? This could be strengths of your cohorts that have come through your school. If you've been at your school, you will know the type of kids that you attract. I was saying to everyone the first night of boot camp that our kids at Nagel weren't the typical sporty kids. Look, and culture shifted that a lot in the Blacktown area. A lot of our traditional sporty kids didn't go to our schools anymore. So we kind of started to have this really healthy group of kids who loved health. So we kind of shifted that and moved with the times and worked out, well, if we do IP, the kids are just going to tune out. They're not doing sport. They're not doing training. They don't understand that performance side of things. We need to move with the time. So look at what your strengths are in your current context, what you can bring into HMS, and obviously use all of that to make decisions about what you're going to do in assessment with the kids. And I love the work with the backward design, all of that work by JBT and what is his colleague, Wiggins. They have an awesome book published in 2005, very comprehensive, looking at backwards mapping, backwards design. And I always say that our teachers in our memberships always begin with the end in mind. Look at where the goalposts are, like what are we trying to achieve with this? Yes, we still have the HSC in its current format. 3-hour exam, we get an extra the kids get an extra 5 minutes of reading in the new HMS version, but things are pretty much the same. We have a number of multiple choice questions, number of short answers, and then 2 more extended responses that the kids have to look at. So it's really important to think about, what am I doing at school to help build those skills, that knowledge, understanding and skills within my kids, to set them up for success at the end. Now, there's there's two sides of me that thinks, I have been around HSC for such a long time. HSC marker from 2007, supervisor of marking for 5 of my 16 years at marking. I talk to teachers about HSC all the time. It's what I live and breathe. The educational philosophy or approach, I don't necessarily agree with, but we still have this HSC. So we could kind of keep our kids in the dark, or we could prepare them for the end game. So that really kind of brings me to a couple of things that I want you to consider when we're looking and making decisions around assessment tasks for health and movement science. Of course, we're mandated by NESA that we have our collaborative investigation that is worth up to 20%. So we have that, not 20%, 20 hours, sorry, that must be assessed, up to 20 hours of course time. And so that's really important to think about with the kids, that, we have to assess that. That is an assessable item in HMS. The outcome that goes with that is HM 1105. So the 05 for 11, health and movement science. We have to assess their outcome. Individual and group component, real world application and audience, all those sorts of things. That has to be in there. And we only get 3 tasks. There's 1 gone. Do you want to do an exam with the kids, an end of course exam? It can't be anything worth than 30%, I think. Or am I taking that 1 task, formal task for an exam? If you want to, you don't have to do an exam, of course. You might do another task, a case study, an application, an investigation with the kids around something. But we also have the last one, the last task. What are you going to do with that last one? Are you going to potentially do a depth study with the kids, assess one of your depth studies, or are you going to do something else with the kids? Hopefully hitting some of those new skills, problem solving, creativity, communication, research, all those sorts of things. I think I've forgotten one. But it's really important for you to think about these things as you're building your scope and sequences, as you're building your assessment schedules and assessment tasks. I don't think many of us are at the assessment task writing stage yet. I think there's quite a few things for us to consider in the background before we get to that. Now, if you have been checking out our Health and Movement Science membership, doors are open. The Rego promo period is now open. And look, we are looking for PDHPE teachers who are team players, who want to collaborate, who want to connect with other teachers across New South Wales, who are time poor, and they're a bit nervous about what things might look like next year for HMS and beyond that. Because you can stay sitting on your little island, different parts of New South Wales, up, down, in and around, or you could join a healthy group of teachers who are working together for a very similar purpose. We're all teaching from the same syllabus document. And I've said it before, the more that we connect with each other, that we collaborate, and that we're in community, the better we are, not just in the classroom, but in life, to have that balance once again, to have that more time in the afternoon, more time in your weekends, more time in the holidays to do what you love. So it's really important that you're thinking about that as you dive into all these things related to HMS. So our HMS membership is open. We are at 50 teachers across New South Wales now, facilitated by me, coached and made you accountable by me. And we have lots of things that we have already prepared for you with the collaborative investigation, with the depth studies, and using all of my CAFS experience from the last 20 years with research, with collaboration in a teacher-facilitated approach. We cannot wait to welcome you into our HMS membership. If you want to check it out, head over to learnet.com/HMS and you'll see all the goodies, 12 months access and beyond. Hopefully we get to work with other beyond the 12 months. We have 2 masterclasses a term. If you can't make them, life happens, we get that. You will get access to the recordings the day or so after. The number of resources that we have already given our members, people are like, Kel, you've saved me hundreds of hours already. That's my core mission, to protect your time, energy, and your well-being. So if you have any questions about the HMS membership, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.